Welcome to Slash Dot Dash Dot and Happy New Year. My name's Jack and we're going to take you through my top 10 most anticipated games of the year in no particular order. So let's get into it. Slash dot dash dot slash dot dash dot slash dot dash dot slash dot. That's right, starting this month we've got Resident Evil 7 on the way, and a zombie's going to be in this one. Is it going to be back on track after two largely disappointing entries in Resident Evil 5 and 6? Who knows? From the trailers though, it does seem like it's going to be more survival horror based this time again, which is good news. It seems to me like they're going more down the route of the sort of recent popular horror craze that we've seen in games such as like Outlast and Penumbra and stuff like that. A lot of people have said it's looking a bit like PT. Now you've got to bear in mind that PT was only a demo, and yes, the Resident Evil 7 demos have looked very similar to PT, but supposedly they were in development before PT, so you've got to take that into consideration. I don't think the main game of Resident Evil 7 is going to be like PT at all. I do think, like I said, it's going to be more like Outlast and Penumbra and those sorts of games. You've got the first-person view horror style now, which is going to be great for VR, those that get to play it on VR, PlayStation VR that is. I really, really wish that I could, but I just can't afford a VR headset right now, so it's going to have to be the standard game. I do have some theories about the monsters or the zombies that we're going to be facing. Zombies, I don't know if they're going to be yet, but this is my theory. So we've seen the Baker family on the plantation in the demos, and I'm assuming the main game is going to be on the plantation and have the Baker family in it. Now I think that this is another test site for someone else, probably not Umbrella, considering what's happened to them during the lore of the franchise, during the history of the lore. I think that it's some sort of experiment, and these guys are the new zombie type. As you can see in the trailers, they're clearly cannibals. They're eating human flesh, but they're more functional. So it looks like to me that they're going to have zombies, but they're going to be more functional, more like what we saw in Resident Evil 4 and 5 and 6, but they will be zombies. I do have high hopes for this title. I think it'll bring the franchise back on track, and we haven't got long to wait now. I've got it pre-ordered, so we'll see what it's like. I will be reviewing the game as well. Okay, second on the list and also coming out this month, and another one that I do have pre-ordered, is Gravity Rush 2. Now, I loved the first game on the PS Vita, is actually what I had it on, and I thought it really suited that system. It had this unique charm to it, you know, that sort of Japanese style, and interesting sort of cutesy characters and whatnot. It had great mechanics for the PS Vita as well. The gravity effect where you can swap what wall you're on and stuff like that. It really worked on the Vita. It's going to be interesting, to me at least, to see how it works on a fully fledged console. Now I know they remastered the original Gravity Rush and put it on the PlayStation 4. I haven't played that one, so this is going to be the first time that I'm playing Gravity Rush on a console, and I'm just interested to see how it will hold up, because I felt the first one was perfect for the PS Vita, and I was lucky enough to pick it up for free on the Vita. It was one of the PlayStation Plus membership free games for the Vita way back when, probably last year or year before. I don't know how this second one's going to stack up, because I've paid full price for it and I'm not too sure if it's a full price game. I have read that it's going to be between 20 to 40 hours long. The first one was quite a long game for a portable device, so it's going to be interesting to see. But I do have high hopes for it. I enjoyed the first one. I'd like to see what they're going to do with the second one. So after January, there isn't much on the horizon in the gaming landscape, but I'll tell you what is on the horizon not long after that. Horizon Zero Dawn. It kind of looks like Far Cry in a way. You're out in the wilderness and you've got your bow and stuff, but the difference is that the animals are mechanical. It's some sort of post-apocalyptic world. I haven't read up on it too much. I've just seen a couple of trailers, and from what I've seen in the trailers, it looks interesting. It's coming from the guys who did Killzone, so it'll be interesting to see what they can do with a new intellectual property. We have a few platformers arriving this year, and one that stands out in the list is Yooka-Laylee, which is going to be developed by people that were part of Banjo-Kazooie, hence the name being a sort of similar musical device type sounding name. So yeah, Yooka-Laylee looks like a 3D platformer, very much in the similar style to Banjo-Kazooie, and it's coming to all consoles, I believe. And if it's anywhere near as fun as Banjo-Kazooie, which I've only just recently purchased and played for the very first time, then it's going to be a great game. Next up on the platform front, and it's a remaster, is Crash Bandicoot, the Insane Trilogy. I loved Crash Bandicoot as a child, even though it was hard. It was just a great game, and I can't wait to play it in a HD sort of format. It'll be interesting to see if they've knocked down the difficulty level on the original 2 games at least. The third game wasn't as hard. I think with it being a remaster and today's sort of gaming climate, it will be a little bit easier than the originals. From the trailers that we've seen so far, it looks really impressive. They've not altered with the game too much. They've literally just gave it that sort of remake HD shine and polish. It looks great. It just looks like a modern version of Crash Bandicoot, and that's all we want from it. We don't want them to change the levels. We don't want them to change the level design at all. We don't want them to change the characters too much. Basically what they've done is they've brought it into this decade and they've just given it that shine on top. We'll see how it comes out. I can't wait for that one. Another platformer remake on the way is Oddworld Soulstorm, which is the remake of Oddworld's Abe's Exodus. So this is where he takes on Soulstorm Brewery, and yeah, if it's anything like the last remake that they did, which was new and tasty, which was fantastic, it should be a good game again. It's great to have these games coming back. The only thing that I will say with similar to Crash and with this one is I hope that it generates some interest and they can make new installments eventually of these titles. Similarly as well, like to what I've just said about Crash Bandicoot, the difficulty level. Now, Oddworld was fairly difficult when it originally came out, and I noticed with the new and tasty remake, it was a lot easier for sure, and I think this will be the case again with Soulstorm, but that's okay. It brings in a new audience. It makes it more accessible to certain people. So yeah, let's see what that one comes out like. Big racing game for the year will be Gran Turismo Sport. Now, I've been a Gran Turismo fan for, well, since it began really. I remember really enjoying playing Gran Turismo 2 and Gran Turismo 4. I've owned all of them, but those ones in particular stick out. In recent years, it's kind of, I don't know, dropped a little bit. It was still a really good game, and I particularly like the online challenge mode in Gran Turismo 5. What's interesting to me is that they've dropped the numerical tag at the end, so now it's Gran Turismo Sport. I don't know exactly what that's going to entail. But yeah, I'm interested to see what they bring with this, and I believe there's going to be VR support as well, so when I finally get a VR headset, I'll be able to play that. I'm not too sure about driving games in VR. I feel like the motion sickness might be a little bit too much in driving sims, but I'll have to wait and see. It's probably one of the only driving games that I usually go for. I have played others in the past, but Gran Turismo is kind of the staple of the PlayStation, and that is my main console. I have PlayStation 1, 2, 3 and 4, so it's kind of what I grew up with. One that jumped out on the page to me was Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale series. Now we've got the second movie coming out this year, which I'm really looking forward to. So it would make sense that they would try and cash in on this with a game, and who better to do it than Telltale? They've done some fantastic stories with Walking Dead, Batman, and other series along the way. So it's going to be great to see what they can do with Guardians. I mean, the Borderlands one was also fantastic, very funny, and if they can utilise that sort of comedy again, which, Guardians is quite a funny film, and if they can put that into the game, then that would be great. It'll be interesting to see exactly if it is the main crew. I'm assuming it's going to be. So yeah, Telltale's Guardians of the Galaxy comes out this year apparently, and I can't wait to see what that's like. Outlast 2 is coming out this year as well, and I've seen some little sneak peeks of that, some gameplay and whatnot, and it looks like a little bit of an improvement on the first one. Now, I liked the first one. I thought it was a good game. It was very, very atmospheric, and you were immersed in that asylum that you were in. You were immersed in that world. This one looks to be a little bit different. You're sort of out in the open a bit more, and there's cabins, and you seem to be in some sort of village. And yeah, I'm very interested to see where they go with this. It's kind of becoming a stale formula in a way, because so many games have done this first person horror genre thing now. But with Resident Evil taking on that sort of style as well, I think it might bring in more of a mass appeal for these smaller titles. There were some really, really scary moments in the first game, so hopefully they can bring that level of horror again in the second one, and scare me to death. Okay, I've saved the big one till last. It's one that everyone's probably got on their list for this year, but it's Red Dead Redemption 2. And if it does come out this year, you never know with delays, and that can go for pretty much any of the games that I've spoke about today. But yeah, Red Dead Redemption's due out this year. Red Dead Redemption 2, that is, sorry. And it's the one that I think everyone's going to be looking to, everyone's going to be buying, and everyone's going to be playing. Now, I wasn't that blown away with the original game. Everyone lauded it as the best thing ever, and I thought it was good. And, you know, Rockstar make fantastic games, but I just didn't think it was as amazing as everyone made out. So I recently replayed it, and again I enjoyed it, but it's been like 6 years since the original, so it's going to be really, really good to go back to the Western style. I'm kind of intrigued to see when it's set, because the original Red Dead Redemption is set in 1911, so at the back end of that Wild West era. So I'm guessing that Red Dead Redemption 2 can't be set after then. It must be before. It must be a prequel. Who knows? One thing that I would like to see would be, as you play on Red Dead Redemption 1, you play as John Marston and you hear all about the old crew that you used to run with. I'd like it if you got to play through that scenario, so you got to play those stories that he talks about in Red Dead Redemption 1. That would be interesting to me. Rockstar make great games, and really you can't trust anyone more with coming up with sequels than Rockstar. I mean, they've hit it out of the park so many times, and yeah, I think this is going to be the big game. I think it's probably going to be looking at Game of the Year. So we've got all that to look forward to, guys, and let me know what you're looking forward to for this year. I'd love to know in the comments. Obviously, I'm mainly a PlayStation guy, so I might be a little bit more biased towards that system, but let me know of any PC games coming out that I should be checking, or any Xbox games that you guys are excited for, or any Nintendo, because of course we've got the Nintendo Switch on the way, which I need to look into a little bit more. But that's all for now. We will see you probably for a review of some of those games very soon. So, bye bye.